Okay, so on page 20, let's talk about factoring difference of squares. Now, I'm betting that 95% of you will not remember this from Algebra 1. So let's review this. Now, I'm going to, I want you guys to get out your Unit 5 packets. So Unit 5 packet and page 4. So this is what I want you to reference because I gave you some examples in the Unit 5 packet. So I'm getting out my Unit 5 packet now, switching gears a little bit. This is the Unit 5 packet, page 4. Okay, difference of squares. Let's look at these examples. Whenever you have two terms and you have a minus sign in between, hence the difference of squares, you use a certain formula. And the formula is this. A squared minus B squared is equal to A plus B, A minus B. So the first thing that I want you to do is identify A and B. So just say what A and B equals. Then, second step, plug into formula. And the part of the formula that's going to be the answer is this. This is the question and this is the answer. Let's look at number 1. So kind of ignore these steps at first. 16x squared minus 49. So if these are perfect squares. So I'm essentially taking the square root of each term. So if I'm taking the square root of this, the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is just x. So if this is a squared minus b squared, that means a must be 4x. Because if I were to square this, I would distribute and get that. B is equal to, the square root of 49 is 7. So now I have my A and B. I plug into this formula. So I'm going to have 4x plus 7 and then 4x minus 7. And it doesn't matter what order you put it in. Both would be the same answer. Now, let's look at this question. The square root of x to the 4th. This one is tricky. So, the square root of x to the 4th is x squared. And the square root of 81 is 9. So I'm going to have x squared plus 9 times x squared minus 9. But in this one, we can keep going. Because look at this one. This is another difference of squares. So in this one, my a is equal to x, because I took the square root. My b is equal to, I take the square root of that, 3. So this becomes x plus 3 times x minus 3. And then we can't take, there's no such thing as the sum of squares. There always has to be a minus. So because this one wasn't a minus, we had to leave it as it is. All right. Let's do one or two from, you guys can look at the others as examples. Let's go back to page 20, difference of squares. Let's do number 21. So if I'm factoring this completely, I'm taking the square root. I want to find a and I want to find b. So I take the square root of this, so that's going to be 5m. And the square root of 1 is just 1. So now plugging into my formula is a plus b times a minus b. So that means this is going to be 5m plus 1, 5m minus 1. Done. Let's do one more. Let's do 25. A is going to equal x when I take the square root of x squared. And b, you just ignore the negative. Always ignore the negative. B is equal to 3. So I'm using this formula. So it's going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. And you guys will be able to get good, and you'll be able to do this in your head. You'll just do the square root and just know what it's going to be. That plus that minus that.